All right, here we go, guys. Let's go for the Murphy Dub Show's quick hits. We're going to be talking about the Jets tonight. Jets, 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 Jets. And let's go over to Podbean and get Murph's quick hits going. Get out of here. Go over to Podbean like normal. And yes, I will be going solo tonight because I'm pumped about these Jets. All right. All right, everybody, listen up. I am here and I am talking to you from the bunker, the basement, the Jets fan headquarters. Look, I am extremely pumped about tonight's game, guys. So listen, I popped on here to give you a nice quick Murph's quick hits. Murph's quick hits is going to be about the New York Jets tonight. I do want to mention Coach Prime. Coach Prime, next Murph's quick hits. I'm pumped for those college. The Colorado Buffaloes. Anyway, as you can see from the headline of this, it says it starts. Now, tonight is where it starts because for years and years and years, I've been at a crossroad with my team. I've made my son a Jets fan. He lives and dies by this team. But you know what, though? The reason why I'm calling it starts is because it kind of started a long time ago and ended on the same day for me. I always tell you guys a story about Dave Kingman, how he hit that home run in Shea Stadium, and I couldn't believe how far somebody could hit a home run. Well, my Mets fandom started on some positive stuff. My Jets fandom, for some reason, started on some negative stuff. Now, I'm going to jump in and tell you guys a story, which all Jet fans that are around my age know. The story of actually the legend of one Mr. A.J. Dewey. Now, I'm 10 years old, living in Queens, in my apartment building. I'm watching TV. For some reason, I looked up at this team at the beginning of the season. It was 1982 season. I had just watched the Steelers 2 years prior and the Rams playing the Super Bowl. Now, that's the first Super Bowl I remember. So, for some reason in there, I think it might have been the fact that when I was in school, I picked up a book. And the book name of the book was The New York Highlanders, I think. So anyway, that being said, it was a book about where the different teams came from and what their names are now. And I happened to read a section about the New York Jets and read about Joe Namath. And at that point in time, Joe Namath was all we had. So I became a Jet fan within that span somehow. So I remember back January 23rd, 1983. I'm 10 years old. I'm watching this game. Everybody knows the game I'm talking about, guys. The Mud Bowl. That's right, the Mud Bowl. Some people say that Don Shula pulled a little trickery there. Like letting the field get that sloppy. He did something out there with the I don't know. Listen, whatever. It is what it is. Jets lost the game anyway. But AJ Dewey had 3 interceptions. Now the quarterback lines on that game were really not that good because of the fact that it was a mud bowl, there was water, wet everywhere. It was a disgusting field conditions. And listen, anybody could have won that game because of those disgusting field conditions. But I had that written down here. It says here that Richard Todd threw for, I think, see, Todd threw for 103 yards and 5 interceptions, and Woodley threw 87 yards and 3 picks. Now, 5 interceptions on a muddy day, 3 interceptions from the other quarterback on a muddy day, not really that bad, right? I guess. But there's one in particular that sticks out in my head. I guess it's 7-0 in the fourth quarter. Me being 10 years old, I have hope on hope. I says, you know what? Something's going to happen here. The Jets are going to drive the ball down. Listen, guys, it was a long time ago, 10 years old. I don't know. I guess I had hope for my team at that point. So, as I'm watching this game unfold, as I watch Richard Todd drop back to pass in this disgusting field conditions, I see him go drop back to pass, and this guy, Mr. AJ Dewey, who forever haunts my sports dreams, jumps up in Richard Todd's face, catches the ball, and runs it all the way back for a touchdown in the fourth quarter, sealing the fate of my New York Jets. Now, the reason why I'm bringing you back to the story and I'm saying it's, kind of a story of fandom is because the Miami Dolphins made me cry. 10 years old, you don't know what's going on. You're just watching sports. You're going to school, you're doing homework, and, you like sports. You watch it on TV, you play it in the street. I was always the New York Jets. I was always Al Toon. Al Toon was my all-time favorite Jet. Freeman McNeil we had back then, all the way up to the Sack Exchange, Joe Klecko, Mark Gastineau. I mean, throughout the years, And well, just to go back there for a second is, listen, I cried that day and I wondered why the Jets couldn't win. And from that day forward, I became a Jets fan. Now, that's why it started and ended right there because, as you know, guys, I wasn't alive in 1969. Some of you guys listening might have been, but I have not seen my team in a Super Bowl. They sniffed it maybe once. Some people say twice. They sniffed it, but they never in the big game. Now, we've gone through a laundry list of stuff, over the years and sports talk shows and the Jet teams that you think that were good and not that good. I truly believe that those teams in '09, 10, 11, and possibly 12, probably not so much 12, but if there's a different quarterback, not taking anything away from Mark Sanchez, but if there's a different quarterback on the other end or on the Jets, and Rex Ryan has in his locker room, that Jets team probably wins the Super Bowl, guys. As does the '98 team, but we could do that on the Murphy and Dub show one night. But different quarterback, that defense was set. They had a running game. They had high level wide receivers. They were ready to go. Their offensive line was at its peak. Mark Sanchez had two of the greatest offensive linemen in the history of football protecting him. But again, we're not going to get into those stories. What we're going to do is I'm going to read to you right now the laundry list of quarterbacks that the Jets have gone through up until this point where I say it starts. Now, Joe Namath. Joe Namath, I am fully confident that Joe Namath ruined the Jets' chances to become Super Bowl champions back in 1969 when he promised that they were going to win the Super Bowl. He knew something, man. He made a deal with the devil, and he says, look, I'll let you win this Super Bowl. And the devil says, you know what? You're going to put that franchise in disarray for 100 years. And you know what Joe Namath said? You know what, devil? You got it. Went on to win the Super Bowl. I am not a Joe Namath fan or Joe Namath sympathizer. He did okay. Is he a Hall of Famer? I don't know. Maybe he's got some pretty good stats on par with some other quarterbacks that are not in the Hall of Fame. But we can go through that too. But starts with Joe Namath. Joe Namath wins the Super Bowl back there in 1969 against them Colts, and they were not supposed to win. Big point spread. I think it was 16, 17, 18, something like that, the biggest in history. But they go on to win that Super Bowl. Joe Namath goes off with the finger in the air, and he is a hero, and the Jets have not won anything since. So now the Jets move on to go about their business. Joe Namath leaves, plays 1 year with the Rams, but the Jets get Richard Todd. Now, Richard Todd's the first Jet quarterback that I can remember. Richard Todd, of course, is on the receiving end of the blocked pass from A.J. Dewey that's run back for a touchdown. So Richard Todd is where I begin to really start watching the Jets. But it's not until Mr. Ken O'Brien comes into the mix. Now, that's when I'm a little older and I'm cognitively watching sports. I'm a Mets fan, diehard. I'm a Jets fan. I'm all in with sports. Ken O'Brien had a lot of good moments with the New York Jets. He had some good wide receivers. Another thorn again in their side. Dan Marino, of course, a thorn in his side. I don't know what the Dolphins have always been a thorn in my side. And my Dolphin friends out there, my Dolphin fan friends, they definitely have, they definitely have had been on the receiving end of some lot of arguments, and I do have a lot of Dolphin fan friends. So they have been forever haunting my dreams. So even down to the spike, and we all know how that lasted. So we go on from there. We have we got Boomer for a couple of years. We got Neil O'Donnell, Testaverde days, the '98 Jets. Some say they should have won the Super Bowl that year. Others say bad luck. Others say, what are you guys talking about? You just, naive Jet fans. I don't know. I think that team might have been able to win a Super Bowl, but history books say no Super Bowl, New York Jets. Then we move on to Mr. Chad Pennington. Now, if you give Chad Pennington John Elway's arm, I truly believe that Chad Pennington might be a Super Bowl Hall of Fame quarterback. Smart, but fragile. The guy knew where to throw the ball, but he was a short ball guy. It wasn't a short ball game back then. So Chad Pennington got hurt against the Giants. He was knocked out for that season. And again, right down the tubes. Then in walks the imposter, I'm going to call him. That's a great word, the imposter. Now, the imposter being '08, Brett Favre walks in. Okay, Brett Favre coming from Green Bay, selling his line of shit to the New York Jet fans. winds up he's a garbage guy anyway because of stuff that's going on down there in Mississippi. He's getting his just desserts now. But Favre, you walked in here saying that you're going to do something for New York. You really just wanted to get to Minnesota. You have no vested interest in getting anywhere but out of Green Bay and onto the Vikings. And listen, you didn't win anyway. You had a hurt shoulder, whatever it was. You did nothing for the New York Jets. Mark Sanchez, I already went over Mark Sanchez. Then we had Geno, Fitz, Sam Darnold, and Zach Wilson. Now, out of these guys, there's one of them that I think is going to turn out to be on the receiving end of being a better quarterback than all four of them. Now, listen, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he comes in, throws a lot of yards. He's the it guy for a while. He's done that with a lot of teams. Harvard educated, smart guy. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he was in and out. He did his thing. He was gone. Okay. Geno Smith, he was terrible here. I wanted him out of here, and he was out of here. He had a season last year where I think he played above his head, and I think that was proven over the weekend. So I don't know if Geno is going to be the same Geno as last year, but I wasn't one of those Jet fans saying, look, we got rid of. We're pressing forward to the future. Mr. Zach Wilson. Mr. Zach Wilson looked like a Pee Wee football quarterback or maybe even a high school quarterback at best last year. So, that being said, everything gets revamped. Salah's in his third year. Woody wants to win. So, what does he do? He goes out and gets us one Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron Rodgers is coming to New York or is in New York. Now, let's rewind a couple months ago where it's, I hope we get him. Who are we going to get? David Carr's available. We saw what David Carr did. He's sharing time with Taysom Hill. Could you imagine, Jet fans, if we did nothing or the Jets did nothing and we were opening up tonight's game against the Buffalo Bills with Mike freaking White as our quarterback? Woody said no. You know why? Because Salah wants to win. The defense is hungry. We have young talent. We have Garrett Wilson, who is probably going to be in the runnings for MVP one of these seasons. He's going to break Jets records. Breece Hall's still a little hurt, but you know what, though? There's really good things to come of him. Sauce Gardner. And you heard, if you guys watched Hard Knocks, you heard Quinton Williams. He's a commander. 15 to 17 sacks out of that gentleman this year. Tonight is a test. Now, we heard all the things about Aaron Rodgers. We heard Aaron Rodgers sat in a dark room. We heard Aaron Rodgers doesn't he doesn't get along with his family. We heard Aaron Rodgers went away on an ayahuasca trip to find himself. We heard all this stuff about Aaron Rodgers. He's at Ranger games. He's at Knick games. He's too cow-toned to the New York fan. He's not a nice guy. He's not this. It doesn't matter. What matters is he said today that he wants to play for another 3 years. You know what that means? I'm accepting nothing less than a Super Bowl championship this year or next year. Okay? That is what's going to happen. And tonight is a test that Aaron Rodgers comes on that field with that slew of young talent, and he gets on that field and looks those guys in the face, especially that offensive line. Because you know what, though? If Aaron Rodgers looks you in the face and says, guys, take me to the promised land, take me to the Super Bowl, and I'm getting on your back, they will protect Aaron Rodgers with their lives. So tonight, Jets, 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 Jets. I'm riding them all this year because I'm a Jets fan, and this is the first time since 1982 when I started my fandom as a New York Jets fan and got my heart seriously broken. Am I excited for a Jets season to come into play? We got receivers, we got running backs, we got linemen, we got defense, and we got a coach that's hungry. Excuse me. Should get a cough button. I'm getting a little excited. We got all the makings for a Super Bowl team here, guys. And I don't want to hear we're one piece away, we're one piece shy. Guys, it's been over 50 years. Joe Beningo, I don't know if there's any way you're going to get this feed, but you said it. The pain needs to stop. Let's go, Jets. And this is Murph's Quick Hits for tonight. The Jets come out with a win. They cover. They win by 10 points. And they are going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. The New York Jets, led by one Aaron Rodgers. Welcome to New York, Aaron Rodgers. Let's go. All right, not too bad. All right, that was it. That was Murph's Quick Hits. Welcome to New York, Aaron Rodgers. And I'm going to see if I'm singing the same tune tomorrow. Signing off.